If you want to entirely change your life and your career trajectory in just 6 weeks, then stick around and learn how I helped a client go from Stevie Nicks' band breakup situation to launched 3 successful projects in just 12 weeks. At the time when I worked with him, my program was 12 weeks. This is the key thing that you need to understand. You need to understand how your voice works and that everything in your life comes from what you tell yourself. And understanding how to use your voice in order to get what you want is ultimately what's going to drive your success in life. It's ultimately going to create your reality. It's all built in your system. You just have to know how to use it. This is how I was able to get my first client and best success story from a place of emotional overwhelm after being Stevie Nicks, been there myself, it's not fun, to 3 launched projects that were successful in just 12 weeks. At the time, my program, Amplify Your Voice, was 12 weeks, and he lucked out and got to work with me one-on-one because he ended up being the only one that signed up. Lucky for him, because the projects that he created after we worked together was a band that he's still a part of, that he's still playing in, and that they still record, and they make some really amazing music and nights out on the town. And one of those short films won People's Choice in the competition it was submitted to. So stick around and learn how you can make this transformation yourself by just dialing in with the instrument in your body, that's your voice. Point number 1, the trick of your voice is your body's regulator. So take a gander with me back to the day that you were born. What is it that doctors were looking for the day you were born? They wanted to make sure that you were alive, and they do that by hearing you cry. If your voice isn't audible, then that's a red flag alert to the doctors, to your parents, to everyone in the room that something's wrong. And while we do know some stories of babies that don't cry at birth, typically, if you're not crying at birth, something's wrong. So roll with me here. Your voice is your body's regulator. For the baby, it's a communication device, right? Of regulating, I'm uncomfortable, I need some help, I need food, I am tired. Letting people know what it is they need by audibly making the sound. That's all they can do at that time in their life, because we're not born out of the womb with words in our minds. It's something we learn. So what this meant for my client then, working with him, was that when we were working in our coaching sessions together and he was going through the program work in the modules and structure there, we were activating his regulatory device. And this actually doesn't have to be just speaking. It's actually as simple as just humming or breathing in and exhaling with an audible sound. What that's doing is making your presence known in the space around you. Have you ever been in a place for hours on end with no sound happening? Have you been at home for too long? Maybe 5, 6, 7 hours where you don't have any sounds going on? It gets pretty eerie really quick, right? Like you begin to almost psych yourself out of like, am I even really here? Like, what's going on? It's the same thing with yourself and your presence in your world and driving this transformation in your life this year, 2026. Okay, point number 2, your voice is your body's communicator. So bouncing off this first point as a regulator, the next step then is communicating. So like the baby crying for help, crying in need of, I'm hungry, I'm tired. That's the same thing for us as adults. We have to communicate what we need, what we want, what's going wrong. We have to communicate it, and communicate it in a way where you're expecting, right? You're expecting that it's going to come into your life, that there's no negotiation. It's just a done deal of, I need this change. It's going to happen. The key here, though, is communicating it and saying, I need this thing, I am this thing, I am feeling this way. So this is an easy way to think of this, is when you're growing up and maybe you're taught some simple emotions but not complex emotions, so you're taught what sad is, you're taught what mad is, you're taught what angry is, what happy is. You know what those are, but the more complex emotions, like I'm feeling enthusiastic, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling depressed. If you're not taught what those are, how are you going to be able to identify them in your body? And so that's what I mean by the voice is your body's communicator first and foremost. It's how you're able to identify what's wrong in your body. Because when you actually speak it out, so when I say, I have a pain in my right hip, right? That's checking me in with myself, right? Or if I've dealt with sciatica in the past. If I have sciatica in my right leg, I can say, I have sciatica in my right leg, and what does that do? It grounds me down into, oh, this is my life situation right now. I gotta do something about this. I have to make the change. It provokes you to change when you identify what it is that your body is going through, what it's feeling. And if you don't have the expansive vocabulary for what it is that's being held or stored, that's fine. Starting as simple as I'm feeling some disruption, I'm feeling some disconnect, I'm feeling a blockage. Just starting there. It's simple enough, some discomfort. So what this meant for my client then was that we were communicating regularly about what was going on in his life. And a band breakup situation really does suck. And so it's a heartbreak of sorts, but you can't stay in a heartbreak forever. There's more life to live. You can't stay in emotional overwhelm forever. There is more life to live. So what this meant then, he was able to use his voice as a filtering system. That's really what the voice does. It filters things out, but it also generates. So you have to have a balance of both, of I'm filtering out what no longer serves me, and I'm generating what it is I want to receive. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. I'm filtering out by saying, I am feeling this way. This is a perfect example. I am feeling depressed. I'm filtering out that feeling, and then I'm generating what I want to then receive and to generate in my life. So then I could say, I want to be happy, or I want to do X thing that makes me feel good. I want to do that thing that would make me proud of myself. So reaffirming the negative thing that you're releasing, or the situation, whatever the consequence that you dealt with, releasing it, and then pivot back on track to you're generating what your life is headed for, what you're headed for in your life. Okay. So that's what was going on with my client. We were able to communicate regularly, and also built into the Amplify Your Voice program, more info on that below. He was able to also communicate with others in his life, and then do a lot of self-reflection work as well, which was the key in my own personal transformation, and more on that in another video if you want to hear my story. So point 3, last point, is your voice is your navigator. Just think of your voice, because it's a built-in instrument. It takes up your body. It takes up the full front face of your body. Like when you're walking around, it's not just your face, it's your voice. Your voice is moving you forward in life. And you might not go so far if you don't express where you want to go. See the connection there? Your voice is your navigator. So think of your voice, it's an instrument, it's a vehicle. If you're going to drive this vehicle, what kind of fuel are you going to put in the vehicle? How healthy of a diet are you going to eat? And yes, I like this, it really comes down to all this stuff, because we're interconnected holistic beings. Your mind, body, spirit, if those are not in a happy balance, then it puts you in a place of stagnancy. It keeps you there. That's what it does. But not to talk about so much about diet, I want to talk more about language. So how language plays a factor here in navigating you through maybe an unwanted situation. You have to say, first and foremost, you have to be able to identify the thing of what it was. You have to be able to frame that negative experience as, well, that happened to me. I had nothing to do with the consequence here. Now, even though I'm facing the consequences of it, but this was not my doing. Someone else's actions were involved that put me through this. it has nothing to do with what I wanted. It has nothing to do with what I was hoping for. It has nothing to do with my worth or my value. You have to keep it in that frame of mind. And so that's what navigates you, right? And the sooner you do this, this is the thing, the sooner you do this with any negative experience you've dealt with, road bump, pothole, a bird flies in front of your car, but you get what's happening, you keep driving. You keep driving and you don't think about it 2 seconds past. You're expelling it and then generating more momentum on where you're headed on the roadway, right? That's really how your voice works. And so back to my client, what this meant for him again was that we were able to work through that emotional overwhelm, the lack of clarity and direction, like a bit of directionlessness because of the heartbreak, right? Like you go through this monumental loss. It's very hard to stay on track. And so to have some accountability and also some coaching here while we were working with voice work, he was able to navigate right back to where he was supposed to be 3 times as much as what he was doing before. Like I said, he launched his band still plays. They're an amazing band around town. They have amazing marketing and recording and stuff that they've done and a great image. And he also went and did these short films where he directed these short films, and one of those won People's Choice in the competition it was submitted to. So you can have this transformation in just 6 weeks. 40 days is all you need to change your life around. And you can join me and amplify your voice for that transformation. And amplify your voice if it's not to your caliber, which is really more of a entry, I'm not sure what's going on, but I want to find out. That's really who it's for. If you want to up the stakes and join my cohort Embodied Voice, we're starting on February 1st and enrollment closes on January 31st. So you want to get your submissions in for that now and link for that below as well. You can transform your life. 2026 can be the best year of your life. It just requires you to step into your story. And I'm here to help you with that. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you in my next video.